Well, good morning and welcome back. It is opening morning and I'm just about to set out into the woods. So today I'm going to do some tracking. I'm going to get up on this ridge here behind me and I'm just going to slowly work my way through the woods. I'm going to get the wind in my face and I'm just going to glass my way through the woods very slow. And my goal is this morning is hopefully I'll be able to catch some deer feeding up on these oak trees here or even bed it up later in the morning. I think I'm gonna follow this track. That's a good sized track. To me it looks like a buck track. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna give this one some time. Well, he's been working this whole ridge and feeding his way all along it. You can see there's some cracked acorn shells. They look like peanut shells. If only that was a buck. They didn't spook. They just went behind this ridge here. But I stared at them for about 5 minutes. That was really cool. I just had 2 bucks jump up. I couldn't tell how big they were. I think they were probably in that 4 to 8 point range. They both had nice little basket racks. I didn't take a shot though. Well, it's getting late in the day here. I just came across 2 does that were bedded up. I watched her for a bit and I didn't see a buck with her, so I took a shot, baby. Now it's time to track. I'm gonna try to get on her pretty quick because the snow is coming down. But I think we got her. Well, I'm not finding any blood, but I'm on her tracks right now and they come down into this ravine here. So I'm just gonna keep going slow and following them. I just found the tiniest speck of blood in the snow here, so I'm definitely on the right tracks. Let's keep going. Well, before I get carried away here, I'm gonna make sure our deer is properly tagged. I'm gonna use my second antlerless tag, and that will still save me both my combo tags, so we'll still be able to kill 2 more does or 2 bucks yet this year. Well, it's safe to say over the last 7 days, there hasn't been much action. The weather had warmed, we lost a lot of snow, and it made tracking impossible and overall hunting conditions very difficult. I sat at my brush blind several afternoons only to see a handful of does, so I continued to explore new places. This was the first year that I've ever tried tracking or still hunting deer, and I have to say, I have a new favorite style of hunting. It's a true test of patience, focus, and endurance, teaching you to read the woods and learn about the animal in order to earn a harvest. It's very physically demanding, and you can often find yourself on very long days, so thankfully I've had some good friends and family that have been able to help me take care of Ollie. However, now, with 2 days left of muzzleloader season and a blanket of fresh snow, I'm hoping to get it done at a new location. Well, good morning and welcome back. It's a crisp, chilly morning. We have 1 degree Fahrenheit today, and our goal today is to do some tracking, do some still hunting, Just put boots on the ground and cover miles. Well, I'm just getting started here, and I believe I just got on a nice buck track. We've been having heavy snow, so these tracks should be within the last hour. I'm gonna get on his track. We'll start tracking him. I think he's with a couple does, but I'm pretty certain one of the tracks is a nice buck track. Let's get on him. It looks like this buck was in here breeding a doe. I can see two sets of tracks coming into these pines, and I think he took her in here to breed. Well, I've kind of lost this track now. There's just so many tracks in here. Well, from what I can see now is this buck did a big figure eight. He went back behind the truck, did a big circle, and came back out on this other side. I just must have missed him, but he's not far from here, and it's a good sized deer. There's a bunch of beds on top of this ridge. Well, I got up on top of this ridge here, and I picked out a lone set of tracks that I'm pretty sure is a buck. And as you can see, it heads right down this way, and there's some nice buck sign as well. Couple nice rubs. These deer can't be far. I have to be right behind them here. I just spotted a deer. I can see its ears. It's bedded up behind a blowdown. It's a buck. It's a buck. It's a buck. He's feeding right now. He's about 35, 40 yards out, bedded up, and has no idea I'm here. He's a nice little buck, and I can see a few points, but I can't tell exactly how big he is. I'm gonna keep moving. Well, for dinner tonight, I'm gonna make a big pot of venison sloppy joe. I love using venison burger and sloppy joe. It's leaner than beef is, and to me, it tastes much better. And at some point on this channel, I'll make a homemade sauce, but for tonight, we're keeping it easy, and we're going with some manwich, thick and chunky, baby. I'm gonna doctor it up with a little fresh onion, some fresh tomato, and we'll be rocking and rolling. Going in with the manwich, a little fresh tomato on top. It is so sloppy, but so good. just been driving on old logging roads, and I'm pretty sure I found a good deer yard here. As you can see, there's some nice sign, lots of rubs, and just tons of big runways all coming together here. Like a dog track right there. Be a wolf. Okay, well, I think I found a pretty good spot here. We have a nice highway here coming right through the cedars, and then over this way we have some more nice runways coming right on the edge of this little opening here. So I'm gonna get building a brush blind. I'm kind of racing daylight, so I don't know how much of it I'm gonna film, but I'm gonna get set up, then we'll let it calm down for a couple days and come back and hunt it. Well, we're set up just off the railroad tracks, baby. I don't have a super far walk into this spot, only about 300 yards maybe, so I'm gonna be quiet, slip into my blind. We should see some deer tonight, I'm thinking. I'm assuming it's not going to take long to see deer, and we should have some action tonight, so hopefully it's a pretty entertaining sit in the woods. Oh, holy wow. Am I cold? Heat, baby, heat. Full blast. This is all I got for a face mask right here. Double layer. Well, I'm gonna try to do the best I can filming tonight. And the thing about this time of year is that the deer have been heavily pressured all year round. And when they know something is not right about their area that they live in, when a human makes entry, you know, they're very skeptical. So if you even make the slightest, like that, if you do this, the deer stomp its leg into the ground. Mean mugging you. So that being said, it's really hard to film. Well, just behind me a bit, have some wolf tracks, for sure wolf tracks in the road, but also have a big buck track here too. Looks like he's going with a couple does, but that's a big track, big dew claws, and he's around. That track's from the last 12 hours or so. If I had a muzzleloader, we'd be tracking him.
a super quiet night in the woods. There's little to no wind. You could hear a pin drop. The snow's super crunchy, so I was pretty loud coming in. I just saw 2 more deer come through left to right, running down the game trail with their tails up. I think there's a predator in the area right now. There's a good chance we could see a wolf or a coyote.
Well, I just got on Onyx and I found a big chunk of state ground, and I've never been here before, but it looked like some interesting looking terrain, some clear cuts perhaps down this 2-track. It's gonna take me along a river as well, so it's gonna give me some good options that I'll be able to explore. Oh my God, there are a ton of does all through this section right here. Well, it looks like all does, unless there's a buck or two in there that's already dropped its antlers, but that's a good sign. Looks like a nice level spot right on the edge of this field. Ollie's very excited to be out of the truck, and look at the scenery here. A beautiful afternoon in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. We only have about 45 minutes until dark, so I'm gonna get things setting up here, but I have a new hot tent that I'm gonna try out on this trip. It's called an Up 5 RBM hot tent, and if you guys would like one, I'll put a link in the description. But I'm super excited to try out this tent. I've heard nothing but great things about it, and we're gonna get it set up here. So let's get cracking. Oh, it's so nice how these pipes just pack away right inside this stove. Come on, buddy. Good boy. Two Sammys, big chunk of salami, cheese, honey mustard, and mayonnaise. Go on. Yeah. Oh, it is another beautiful morning here in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Now my plan is I have a long route picked out that we're gonna hike and hunt today. So right behind my camp here, straight north, there's a ridge that runs, it looked like 2 to 3 miles on my maps. Then I'm gonna cut in, we're gonna bushwhack about a mile through a swamp, and then that'll lead us to a river, the same river that we crossed over on our way here. So then we'll hit the river, we're gonna hike the river and hunt the river all the way back down to the bridge, which will be another 2 to 3 miles. And then once we hit that bridge, we'll be able to walk the road all the way back to camp here. And my goal is to hunt grouse and also scout for next season. On this trip, I'm gonna be rocking this beautiful over under 20 gauge. This gun was actually handed down to me from my grandfather, who was a competitive skeet shooter for many years. And we're gonna put it to the test once again here today. Well, every time I set out on a hunt like this, I just like to get into the woods a little bit, stop, take a break, just let my body, let my senses adjust to the woods. There's definitely a nice buck back here. If nobody got him this year, he'll be a dandy next year, that's for sure. Well, I just found these grouse tracks in the snow, and I also found coyote tracks in the scene where a grouse was slaughtered. Oh yeah, you can tell that's definitely a grouse too. He was killed right here. That was his last track. Okay, well, I finally reached the point west along this ridge, and now I'm gonna hook north, and I have about a mile bushwhack through this swamp, and it looks like it's gonna be pretty thick. We're getting down and dirty with them, finding where they live.
this way a little more. Got him, baby. Got him. Okay. All right. First bird down in the trip, baby. Got him in the backpack. We're going to keep going. We're about a half mile from the river, and we got this trip underway with the grouse. Oh, dang. A whole cubby just took off right here. Oh, damn. Oh, yeah. Look at that guy. That's probably a pretty good buck there. Well, this here looks like a really good spot. There are like 8 different runways that come together. We just walked through a real wet area. We have this nice little mound of high ground, and on my left I can start to hear the river. So this just looks like a perfect little funnel for them to travel down. I'm gonna mark this spot here on my phone. I'll be back here. Some nice rubs around too. It's gonna be a slide. Whoa. Oh no. Oh no. I'm wet. I did it. I'm wet. It happened. It happened. Should have had that one. I just looked at my phone to see where we were. I took 5 steps and that bird took off. I wasn't ready. I saw where he landed though, so I'm gonna see if I can sneak up and see if we can see him again. Oh, it's a rabbit. Oh, the dog is gone. He just kicked up a rabbit. I couldn't shoot though because Ollie was running right at him. He was right on his tail. Oh, did you chase that bunny? Was that Peter Cottontail? Was that Peter Cottontail? Well, you can see here, there's been a beaver that's just been tearing apart these trees.
And for dinner tonight, we're gonna have grouse in the Dutch oven. And I have a recipe in mind that I've never tried before, and I'm pretty excited to try it tonight. So let's get them cleaned up. Chicken of the woods right here, baby. And look at this. We always have to save the fan. Well, for those of you who have watched this channel for a while, you know just how much I've enjoyed making bread over the years. But it's been a while, so tonight, we're getting back with it. One loaf, I'm gonna make more as a dinner loaf with garlic salt, roasted garlic and herb seasoning, and thyme. And then in the other loaf, I'm gonna use walnuts, cinnamon, and sugar, and that'll be more as a dessert. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at those rolls of walnuts with the sugar and the cinnamon, baby. Oh yeah! Going in with our walnut bread. I'd say another 10-15 minutes and we'll be rocking. Oh yeah! Had to slap some butter on this right away. First bite, cinnamon sugar with the walnuts. Well, the veggies froze up a bit, but we'll make it work. Gonna slice some green onion. Mushrooms might be in tough shape here, people, from being frozen. And I'm gonna slice up a couple jalapenos here. Going in with a can of cream of chicken. Then we'll go with a can of cream of celery. And then we're going in with some heavy cream. Throw a little of this in there. This soup with the homemade bread is gonna be out of this world. One thigh, our breast, and the second thigh. Had to hunt for that one. Like carving a mini turkey. There we go. Waste no meat. Snolliver. I think a guy would have remembered a ladle, huh? Garlic bread dipped in our broth. I cooked it a little bit longer than I typically like, but that is so tender, so delicious. Look at this, big hunk of grouse breast right here. Well, this looks like a nice little spot here. I have a runway off to my left. I'll be able to shoot that way. It's probably about 25 yards out. And then the main runway is straight ahead of me here. And I have a pine tree that I'm gonna build my brush blind into as well. So should be able to get set up pretty nice here. It's always nice when you have some beavers around to help. You're not allowed to cut down live living trees, but if the beavers do it, I don't see a problem with that. Well, I'm gonna set up one more spot here on my way out. Found a couple nice runways yesterday that crossed the road here on my walk back to camp. I'm gonna go put together just a simple brush blind, so that way we'll have a couple spots. Well, you can see all the fresh deer tracks in the mud here, and look at all these blowdowns. We'll be able to put together a nice brush blind in here. Well, blind number 2 is complete. And look at this. We have a really nice view of the runways right out in front of us. This is gonna be perfect. Well, the last thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put out just a few cobs of corn right in between these two runways. So hopefully it entices them to either come this way from different runways, or it'll stop them for just a second and allow me to take an ethical shot. She is right there on the right. There's a big doe not far from my blind. I can see her head right now. Oh, there's another one behind her. Oh yeah, baby. Set up here. We have about 3 hours until dark, and it's a beautiful evening, but you could hear a pin drop in this forest, so I'm gonna have to be extremely quiet, and it might be difficult to draw this bow back on a deer, but we'll do the best we can. Hopefully we get a shot. The squirrel's going at it.
they busted me.
We'll get ready for one more round.
It's about 22 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind's blowing probably 15 to 20 mile an hour. So that'll give me some good cover if I'm able to draw back on a deer. Hopefully we get lucky. We'll see what happens. Well, I just had a deer coming in. It looked like a single deer coming in by itself, and it winded me. The wind's blowing strong right now, but I can feel it hitting my face and my body from all different directions. It's coming out of the northwest, but it's just whirling around in these trees. And that deer smelt me about 20 feet before I could see it. It was coming in like it owned the place too. I'll never know what it was. Talk about taking it down to the wire, but I'm pretty sure we have a deer down. About a half hour after that deer winded me, another one came marching from the same direction. I couldn't get the big camera on in time, and I didn't want to spook it by taking a chance, but I'm pretty sure I got her. We made it back. Let's go get Ollie. Okay. Whew. I am frozen solid. I'm gonna give it probably about an hour or two. I'm gonna go pick up Ollie. We'll go meet up with my buddy Kevin, and we'll go track this deer. Pretty sure she's down, but gonna give it some time and just let the woods settle down for a bit. So let's go get our buddy. Well, look what's going on here. It's a dog's paradise, Kevin.
Uncle Kevin.
Right now we're trying to pick up some blood. So far, I have not found any blood at all. Well, I spent about a half hour looking for my arrow and looking for blood. I haven't found either. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna back out and I'm gonna come in with some daylight. Well, I have found my arrow here. You can see that it's been frozen up overnight. But I have, man, I don't know, 9-10 inches of solid penetration. You can see the bottom of this arrow is just blood, and it looks pretty clean after that to me, so looks like a good shot. Blood, 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 blood. Okay, there's some blood coming over the log, more blood on the log. Oh, okay, here we go. Starting to look better here. Heading right back into the swamp, baby. I think she crossed this little creek here, and lo and behold, I have found my deer. For dinner tonight, we're gonna eat the heart. This deer is freezing stiff solid by the second. Deer hide. Next year I'm gonna be hunting like this. Is that a warm coat for you, buddy? Well, as you can see, our deer is skinned. I cut off the legs, and now it's time to start quartering her out. So the first step is I'm gonna take off the front quarters. One front quarter down. 2 front quarters. Now next, I'm gonna take off the back straps. So there'll be 2 long strips of steak that run on each side of the backbone here. And this is one of, if not, the highest quality cut of meat on the entire deer. It'd be the same on a cow. And I'm sure we'll be eating some either tonight or tomorrow night. I'm just gonna ride my knife right along this backbone here, and I'll show you this long strip of steak will cut right out. Look at that, baby. A big long strip of steak. Number 2. Big old hind quarter. Okay, hind quarter number 2. Well, I let the meat thaw out just long enough next to the wood stove, and now I'm gonna start sectioning out the different muscles and the different cuts of meat on this hind quarter here. Now this process is really self-explanatory as long as you take your time. You can see how all the different muscles and all these different sections are separated by a layer of talon. So what I'll do is I'll take my knife and just run my knife right along those separations, and then I'll use my hands to just slowly peel them back, take my time, and at the end of this process you'll have some really nice cuts of meat. You can see how this whole section is just peeling back really nice. There we go. There's a really nice big cut of steak there. I kind of butterflied it, and those are gonna make some great cuts. You can see how it's just peeling right off that bone there on this back side. Then I'm gonna flip it over. Now watch this. We're gonna have one big old hunk of roast. We could grind that up into burger. We could make stew meat out of it. It's backstrap time. And you can see it started to freeze up again just being outside for a little while. We're going on, baby. Fresh, thinly sliced backstrap. That meat is so tender and so delicious. And to cap it off, our homemade bread. That's a wrap. Well, my plan now is I'm gonna go visit my old buddy Kevin, and we're gonna grind up some of this meat into burger. But first, I'm gonna stop off at a grocery store and I'm gonna pick up some fatty hamburger, and we'll mix the venison burger with that beef fat. Yeah. Oh. I'm gonna use this burger right here. That's 20% fat, and that's gonna be perfect. Well, let's go see what Kevin's up to. Well, Kevin's actually finishing trimming up some meat that he had shot earlier in the season. We have NFL Network going on here. Gonna crack a cold Keweenaw red jacket, baby, and it's time to cut up some meat.
This is onion powder.
Vinny burgers for dinner.
Cracked pepper.
Going in the air fryer. We're gonna squeeze in these half pounders. Oh yeah! The story of this guy.
For the first time in my life since I was a teenager, I got buck fever. And I missed that deer 2 days after this picture I got of him.
Buck fever.
Buck fever, baby.
Here we go. Start with a caramel apple. Thick, juicy, messy, just the way we like them. Well, I just finished sealing up all of our burger here, and now I'm gonna head to the steak. So you can see I have some really nice cuts of steak here. This big cuts off the hind quarter, then I have a pile of backstrap, and then I have some smaller, more tender cuts of steak off the hind quarter as well. As much as I would have liked to kill a nice buck this season, it's gonna have to wait until next year. It was an incredibly rewarding year for me. I learned a ton, found some great spots, and at the end of the day, I have a freezer full of meat, and for that, I'm very thankful. If you guys are new to the channel, feel free to go down below here and hit subscribe. It's totally free and allow you to see each and every video that I post as soon as I post it. But without further ado, I'm gonna have a long drive back home and a lot of editing work to do on the computer over the next few days. So we'll see you in our next adventure. Adios. Until next time.